Laughing Vikings Live. High vibe chats with actors, comedians, and creators, plus stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, and most importantly, you. That's right, join us every Monday for new episodes, and you can be a part of the show on Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitch. Ask questions and interact in the comments, and make sure to share this with your actor, comedian, and creator friends so they can be a part of the show too. Can't make a live show? No problem. You can catch up on your favorite podcast platform and visit laughingvikings.com to find out how you can join the cast and crew. All right, it's time for today's show. Buckle up and make sure you stick around to the end because we have a special surprise for you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Laughing Vikings Live. Happy Monday Fun Day. Let's go. Well, hello, Internet people. How is everyone? Welcome to episode 106. 106?
Yes, I believe so.
106. Man,
yay!
This podcast is 10 episodes older than the Queen. Rest her soul.
Wasn't she almost 100?
She was 96.
Oh.
Yeah, we're 10 episodes past the Queen. It's amazing. We've done a royal podcast. Yes. Welcome. We have a fantastic guest today. I'm excited to see everyone. Make sure if you haven't, smash that subscribe button. For everyone watching on Facebook right now, just share this out. If you're an actor or a comedian, chances are half of your friends, if not all of your friends, are actors and comedians. So hit the share button right now. We've got fantastic guests. We're going to talk about all things acting. Also, we're going to talk a lot about voice and voiceovers and voice work. And we will get to our guests shortly. But first, BK, how you doing?
I am doing well, Lars. I'm doing really well. I'm doing maybe. How about swell?
Swell, yes.
I'm doing quite swell.
I think swell is like I'm no
word connoisseur,
etymologist. I'm no word expert, but I think it was well, and then people were like super well, and then that just got shortened to swell.
Swell.
I believe that's where swell comes from.
I think I prefer super well.
Super well.
Yeah,
I am super well.
Super well.
It's funny because before backstage, not to let cats out of bags, but you were lamenting, and I don't know who does this, but you were one of those rare people that does not like visits to the dentist. Is that what you were upset about?
I'm just getting a little tired of going to a student dentist.
Right.
And it's just taking an obscenely longer amount of time than I would like it to. Usually it's not that bad, but this time it's just I'm just too busy to continuously go to a dentist that I'm not doing anything for most of the time that I'm there. Like, we're not cleaning my teeth.
Let me explain to everyone. Brandon, like many people in different seasons of life, had decided, because of the ridiculous cost of dental care, had decided that he was going to get treated at the college of dentists or the school, the university or whatever. So they're dentists in training. So as a result, all the services are way less, but it takes like 4 times as long because there's a teacher and a student and they're walking them through things. They're being marked and scored. They're having to double check and triple check and do all these things. Not to mention where it is. He's got to take like a subway and a bus and another bus, and then he's got to walk a bit. Then he catches a rickshaw. Then he's got to hop on a donkey to the top of the mountain. It's way in the middle of
nowhere. The donkey's mean, Lars. The donkey's really mean.
Yeah, it's not like the fun donkey from Shrek. It's not the donkey. It's an ornery old dental donkey.
Bitter. Terrible teeth.
It's actually a great lesson because a lot of the times in life, and I know at the time it served you and has served you many times. I remember when you were going and it wasn't an issue for you at all. But a lot of times we try to save money, and what it costs us is time. And then at one point you're like, my time is more valuable than this to spend. Like if you're saving $100, but it's taking you an extra 4 hours between going back and forth. Well, then is it saving you money or costing you money? So it's a great lesson
for everything in life, whether that means hiring a home cleaner or a virtual assistant.
Right now the problem is either I need to go and do a job that I've been hired to do, or go to this student dentist for 6 hours of my life.
Right, which is insane. Just here's what you need to do. Just brush 3 times and floss 3 times a day, and you'll never need to see a dentist. It's a racket. The whole thing's a racket.
You still do.
If you still do. No, you don't. You don't.
Yes, you do.
You actually
do.
Don't.
Yes,
I feel like that's a dentist.
There are instruments that only they have get your teeth done right.
Of course, they're the only ones.
It's ridiculous.
So that
why is this not available to the public? This should be available to the public, Lars. We should all be able to remove our calculus from our teeth. This is ridiculous. I am taking a stand.
The whole thing's a racket.
It's all a conspiracy, Lars. It's all
here's
Steve
my
Martin.
suggestion.
Steve Martin played that dentist.
Brush 3 times a day after meals, floss, and stop sleeping at night with caramels between your teeth. That's the worst. That's the worst.
That's my big problem. Is I need to stop sleeping with the caramels.
Yes, and stop mouthwashing with Pepsi as well. Sugar water.
I will never stop that. It's the best mouthwash there is, Lars.
Right. Well, this has been the dental hygiene version of Laughing Vikings Live. I'm sure everyone watching has tuned in for these dental tips.
Yeah.
What else will we talk about in the week that is Laughing Vikings? As always, we had a couple great Comedy Alley shows. We've had several sessions. Any highlights that you want to bring to the table here? Actually, while you're thinking of that, I'll give a shout out to Jesse Elgood and Cheryl Poirier, who in this past week just they finished their shadowing, and they had been tag teaming some sessions with you. But just this past week, they've run their own solo sessions with some of our regulars here in our Toronto studio. So congrats to them. For those of you actors who are booking self-tape auditions with us, you'll see them available via Zoom or via a studio session here in our Toronto studio. So you can now book with Cheryl or Jesse Elgood as well. So welcome. And that's what we're doing. Actually, this episode today is the first of probably 6 episodes that we're going to do to feature all of our new session directors that we brought on here, not only in Toronto, but in other places. So stay tuned for that today. Did you have something that you wanted to highlight?
I just want to give a shout out to Adam Daniel Mazet. He comes in all the time, and he's always working on scenes for classes or auditions, and he's always booking. And I believe he just had a direct booking today, correct?
Yeah, he was in the studio today, and while he was here, he got an email from his agent, Marla Mann.
That's fantastic. So congratulations to Adam Daniel Mazet.
Hello? Who froze? Did I freeze? Is it just me? Just me? Hello. Did Brandon freeze? Did I freeze? Moneen didn't freeze. Well, here we are. Oh, there's Brandon.
And now I'm back. So again, I just want to say congratulations to Adam Daniel Mazet. He always puts in the work. It's always very admirable. And I just want to say congrats to you, Adam. You always put in the work, and you are a shining example to other actors in this community.
Yeah, he's growing a lot. He's always in a class. Even when he's in his classes, he's doing his class homework at home and working on his scenes when he's actually at the class. But then he'll often book the studio and book a session director to come in here and work on his scenes outside of class, so that when he does get to class, he's even further ahead. So he's one of those guys where, since we've known him, he's invested hundreds of dollars into himself and into his career, and he's grown quite a bit as a result of it. And he's booked quite a bit. And even during COVID, he lost some things that he had booked that because of random COVID tests and things like that, they went back too. But congratulations. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
All right. Well, we should just let people know, if you want to learn how one actor went from stressful DIY self-tapes to booking a role in a Hollywood blockbuster plus 2 series leads all in the same year, then you can register for our Audition Hero workshop. You're going to get immediate access to our 3-day replays of that workshop. We actually did the live workshop in July. And you can go to laughingvikings.com/audition-hero. You're going to get access to all of those replays. And those are 3 workshops that'll transform your audition process and help you elevate yourself into the audition hero that you were born to be.
Woo!
All right. And with that, we have a guest. As I mentioned, this is going to be the beginning of a series where we're introducing some new actors that we're working with and collaborating with to run sessions here through Actors Audition Club at Laughing Vikings. And today's guests, we're going to roll a clip and then we're going to bring her into the studio. So my favorite thing to say, I got to do this. This is a big one here. All right. Are we ready for it? You ready for it?
I'm ready, Lars.
Roll the clip.
People find this hard to believe, but I had my first multiple orgasm when I was six in ballet class. Suffice it to say, I'm very easily aroused. Your daughter and I have a lot in common that way. More soup? Listen, Roger, listen and listen carefully. Under no circumstances go under that tree. He's going to drop the brick on your head, sweetheart. No, don't go under the tree. That's what he wants you to do. No tree. Okay? Okay. Yabba-dabba-doo! To you too. He's going to walk right under that tree. He has no more sense than God gave a screwdriver. We'll go now?
Да. Идем.
And you can tell me that story?
Ту я люблю.
Me too.
Ничего не поделаешь.
Nothing to be done. Her daughter takes French lessons. She's 7, for Christ's sakes. She reads my mail, she cleans out my cabinets, she knows all my fucking business. I made some cash and I got the guy. So sometimes the fish out of water turns out to smell like a rose. And sometimes the thorny part of the rose ends up smelling like a fish.
All right, gentlemen, she is an actor. She is a voiceover artist. She's got a long career in radio, and she's a fellow Todorofian. We first met during conservatory. We're both members of Ensemble 10. We just graduated from that conservatory this past May. Please give a New Hampshire live free or die state welcome to Moneen Daley.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
So great to see you both. Thank you. Thank you for that warm welcome.
Did I nail that slogan? Live free or die?
Live free or die state. Yes, you remembered that, and I appreciate that. And that's how we feel here in New Hampshire.
It's a hardcore slogan, right?
There's no messing around.
When you
come over the border, it's very, very clear you're in New Hampshire. It's like lottery tickets, cigarettes, wholesale, alcohol, and fireworks, all right there in one strip mall.
There you go.
Well, welcome. So great to see you. We got lots to talk about here. I want to welcome you formally. I think we've done this a few times via email, but welcome to Laughing Vikings and Actors Audition Club. You're going to be helping run audition sessions with actors, primarily at the beginning virtually via Zoom, which is the world that we live in today. So we're excited to have you as part of the team.
Oh, thank you so much, Lars, and Brandon too. It's a complete pleasure. You know that I'm a huge fan, Lars. I mean, to me, you're like a modern day Canadian Bob Hope. You know, I mean, you're like at the Toronto Film Festival one day, you're doing stand-up comedy the next day, and then you're on the golf course. You know, so it's like
Right.
you're that guy for us. You're that guy who's doing it all. And
Right.
I've always been a fan. I've always been a fan.
Thank you. Well, the feeling is mutual as well too. So I
Thank you.
don't know if I have a Bob Hope like comparison. Lucille Ball, maybe is that the equivalent?
All my references are between 40 and 60 years old. So as long, you know, as you're steeped in nostalgia, we communicate
Right.
beautifully.
Right. Great. Brandon's having some trouble with his focus. Focus, Brandon. Focus. There he is.
I'm working on it.
There he is.
It's the dental tools. By the way, Brandon, I know that you think the whole dentistry thing is a scam. By the way, you can get dental tools. I have dental tools. The mirror, the scaler, the scraper.
That's good. That's good.
Okay.
I definitely should.
I understand. Oh, Erin's listening. That's great. Hi, Erin. And she'll be here next week, which is fabulous.
Yes, yes.
Brandon, to save money, way back in the day, I got a student perm. Okay. So I understand what it's like to say, hey, you know what? I can save some dollars. This person's learning. You don't have to worry about a perm, clearly, Brandon, but you know.
I don't know. I feel like I could pull it off.
a little Larry action.
Big domes that they put over
I need to grow up my hair a bit, but I think I could pull it off.
Pretty cool. But yeah, no student hairdressers, no student dentist, no student anything, really.
Yeah. It's time to graduate.
Time to move on. Time to graduate.
A professional, which is why we're here.
Tell you what, I'll buy the dental tools, and there'll be a little add-on, a little box that people can check when they book an audition session.
Okay.
Do you want 30 minutes of dental cleaning? And then we can just really get in there with it, you know.
Really get in there. Get that calculus out of there.
It's awkward for the actor while they're trying to give their lines with a drill, but it's also really good training.
Yeah, I think it'll be really beneficial.
Extends the lips.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's like when the dentist asks you a question and you've got the dental dam and you've got the plastic and you've got the tools and everything. And they're like, so, hey, how is that getaway in Maine? You can't really describe it with all of that, but your lips stretch. Yeah, it's an effective warm-up.
Yeah, and as they say, as an actor, you need to be versatile. You need to be able to improvise, and you need to be able to adapt to your circumstances. And one of those circumstances, occasionally you're on set, and a dentist tries to do work while you're shooting your scenes.
Exactly.
So you've got to be able to roll.
You can't get distracted.
Yes. All right, Moneen. I don't know if you've seen or I'm sure you have seen and or listened to some of the episodes, but one of our favorite segments is the 1 minute life story. That's where Brandon Knox throws a minute on the clock. You have 1 minute to tell us all you wanted to tell us about Moneen Daley's life. So the clock is there. The official intro. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen of podcast world, this is Moneen Daley's 1 minute life story. Go.
Okay. It all started in a farming coal town in the Midwest, which is why I have no Midwestern accent and no New England accent. I am neutral because I moved at all the right times. Okay. Midwest to Northeast, to Boston, to education, to deciding that I wanted to work in radio, to ending up skipping college classes to work in Boston radio full time and thinking, gee, I don't need to graduate. Here's my career. Nice long broadcasting career that began when I was 19. By the way, I'm 56 right now. Was in radio up until about 6 years ago. All along the way, I've been doing voiceover exclusively since 1999, and then graduated, decided a diploma would be good, and got one with you this May.
Boom. Ding, 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 ding. That is correct. That is Moneen Daley's 1 minute life story.
Oh,
yes.
It wasn't so intriguing, but
Midwest, where were you born? Where'd you come from?
In Illinois, a little a little town called Carlinville. It's like, okay, here's another ancient reference. The only other celebrity actor that I know from Carlinville is
George Carlin.
no, older still. His last name is Keeler. It's not Garrison Keeler. It's another Keeler, and he was the grandfather on Dallas. And my grandmother Helen, I swear to you, this is the truth. She used to pick coal with him in the streets, so they would have extra heating. And he went on to great fame. The grandfather matriarch on Howard Keel. Howard Keel. That's his name. Howard Keel. Yes.
I'm on the wiki page right now, and I don't know if this is a relative, but there is a Louis P. Daley who was there from 1868 to 1930, and he was an Illinois state representative. Is that a uncle or a grandfather of yours?
There are political connections, and I'm not afraid to say, vote early and often. Mayor Daley is distant cousins, but Louis closer to the fam. And those are my people.
Facts.
I have a beautiful, Lars Brandon, I've got a beautiful combination of white trash and blue blood. Okay. This is what makes me, I believe, an effective relator and director, because behind me actually is the Woodman Museum, and that's the blue blood side of the family. And they my grandmother has a teapot in that museum. It's just weird dumb luck that I ended up here next door. And then the white trash of side of my family, when times are tough, we brush our teeth with corn cobs. It's that kind of desperation, you see. So there's the balance.
All right. According to Lars, my mouthwash is Pepsi. So
I gotta share something else from this wiki page. In the early 1900s, Carlinville became a site of a great many Sears catalog homes. An entire neighborhood was constructed of homes and was funded by the Standard Oil of Indiana for its mine workers in Carlinville at a cost of approximately $1 million. $1 million for 150 homes. And Sears Roebuck named one of the house models the Carlin. Interesting. I did not know, first of all, that you could, from a Sears, a lot of people don't even know what the Sears catalog is nowadays, but I'm old enough to remember it. But weird that you could just order a house from a catalog.
Anything, boots, a guitar, a house. It was the modern, the olden day Amazon, Sears and Roebuck. No competition.
And to give you an idea of Carlinville, it has a total area of 2.99 square miles, or 7.74 kilometers squared. That is a small place.
It is.
Yes.
It's where I was born, and where I was driving a tractor when I was 7 years old. And very rural life. And my dad retired early, and that's what brought us to the Northeast. And I got a good education, and that was his goal. And I really thank him for it.
So from Carlinville to the east, question: what was your very first performance that you remember as a kid or in school? When's the first time you were in the spotlight or on a stage?
It's a great question, and one that I often ask talent. The thing that comes to my mind really is the first time that I made my mom uncontrollably laugh. And I was really, really young, and we were looking for a restaurant in Newburyport, Massachusetts, which is on the water. And we had become disoriented, and she was trying to remember where this particular seafood restaurant was. And I said, well, why don't we walk down that way? And she said, and she said, no, it's on the water. And I said something like, well, how silly of me to think that a seafood restaurant would be near a pier, because she wanted to go in the other direction. It's not that funny, except for it was specific to the situation. And I saw how she relaxed and laughed because she was like so tense about this. And again, I was pretty young, single digits, and it just made an impression. And like a lot of us performers coming from an environment, a household that maybe had some dysfunction or some irregularities, my job was absolutely to keep it up, keep it light. And those are my early interactions with knowing how important humor was, how important and how valuable it can be to take a moment and flip the script, and take something that's really shitty and turn it into something really funny. I was educated by Catholic nuns, so there was not a lot of pleasant memories, because most of the time when I was performing in Catholic school, I was severely either physically beaten or reprimanded verbally for it. So so I'm a survivor. I'm a Catholic survivor, but I think the family humor is the biggest thing.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because that is such a common thing. Anytime you hear actors or comedians, especially comedians, they're like, when did this start? And like a large percentage will say it was a coping mechanism or a defense mechanism at home. My mom was sad and I used to like to cheer her up, or my dad was mad, and in order for him to not hit me, I would, like, this is not me, I'm not saying this,
Right.
but a lot of people say that, where it was like, I knew he would come home from work or he was out with the boys and he'd come home liquored up, and that was the beat down time. And if I cracked a few jokes, then I would be on his side. So it's, or from something from school too, where in order to fit in, you're cracking jokes, or in order to not be bullied, you're making jokes. I mean, in life, I think that is what humor is. It's a coping mechanism to deal with all the other shit, so we don't go insane.
Right.
And it's such a like the worst scenario. It's like, I've been at funerals before where it's a terrible circumstance, and it's like a loved one whispers something in your ear and cracks you up in what normally would not be a scenario where you'd want to be laughing, but it brings some levity to the situation.
Exactly. And it's such a fine line, everything is absurd, everything is absurd. Even death, and dying, my son created a really funny, I don't know that we want to go down, this kind of storytelling lane, but my mom, since she just came up, on her deathbed, we had like all but said goodbye, and it was really peaceful. And I gave her a manicure and a facial, and she was seeing my grandpa, and she was kind of off somewhere. And my son, who was wearing like a tie-dye Hampton Beach crazy sweatshirt, was just not quite paying attention to the scenario. And he clapped his hands really loud and said, "Grandma, I love that you moved the bed closer to the window." And she kind of came to, and we did the whole thing all over again. And he was just so, like exactly what we're talking about, was kind of uncomfortable with the silence and just started up talk. And we had like another visit, and we all laugh about it. We're all, it's a funny memory. It's a funny memory. So I think recycling emotions, taking things that have happened to us, being able to have our emotions easily accessed but managed, is really the work of the actor and the director together, because sometimes it can be overwhelming, but it can be recycled, reused, and repurposed, all of our emotions. And if I wasn't able to perform and work with performers, oh, I would for sure be nutty as a fruitcake. Yeah.
More nutty.
More nutty. Functional nutty, as I say now.
Yeah, I
But
love that. Thank you for sharing that about your mom too. So that was your first memories of performance was for her. What was your first professional gig? I don't know if that was acting or if that was radio, but tell us about that.
oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. The first professional gig was radio. And like I said, I was 19. I decided on the summer, from my freshman year, I'd work at maybe a local radio station. I called them every day, and the program director had no interest in me whatsoever. But he said, hey, why don't you call back tomorrow at 11? And eager beaver, hey, I want to do a great job. I would call every day at 11, and I was so goddamn sorry. I know this is a family show, and I'm swearing. Forgive me. I hope we have a
No, we
beeper.
No,
fucking
let
swear
her
all the
loose.
time.
Let her
Okay.
loose. Oh yeah.
I was so GD determined to get through that I called every day for like maybe 7 or 9 days. And then finally, it's like, Moneen, you're serious. Okay. Let me give you a tour of the station. Man, you're persistent, and I won him over. Um, and they hired me on the spot as a news stringer, to report on local things. And then that same afternoon, I went into the studio. I saw the guy who was on the air in the afternoon, and he was playing songs, and he was talking fast, and he was giving stuff away, and he was recording callers, and he was making things happen all the time. And it was oldies music. It was music that was older than I was, but I loved it. And I just said, I want to do that. And I talked them into keeping the station on an extra 2 hours. It went off the air at midnight. That's how small it was. More wattage in my blow dryer than this radio station. However, it was my training ground, and I stayed on from midnight to 2 a.m. And I have a listener friend who remembers those days. He still stays in touch. Mike from Exeter, hello. And then by the end of that summer, I just worked at it. By the end of the summer, I was driving a 59 Ford Fairlane convertible and doing beach reports, and earning a salary that was beyond what I ever thought at that age. And I'm not proud of this, but everything was from the streets. I learned from the streets, and I learned from kind of blind bravado. And since this is a little bit of a mommy fest with telling mommy stories, she never questioned that I could do anything. And she'd make me like little roast beef sandwiches and pack things up because it was a 6-hour shift. And this is before digital and automation. So a 2.5 song meant a 2.5 minute song. A 1.5 minute song meant you just have to always be on the move. And I loved it. And I went straight from New Hampshire to Boston, and things just happened. It just really, like I said, blindly, just like, do I know how to do that? Yeah, when I didn't know. And that's why conservatory meant so much to me, as I've discussed with you, because having a diploma, especially from someone that we both admire and adore and has influenced us so much, Tom Todoroff and his conservatory and all the faculty there, whom I know that you've had Mary Lou on your podcast, Mary Lou Rosado, and I know how you feel about Tom. We all feel that way. Brandon, you too, because you're part of the Saturday scene. To have some validation and some education to back up 34 years of just doing my own thing. It's like a perfect little punctuation mark. It really makes me feel good.
Yeah. I want to unpack that a little bit, because that's such a great lesson for everyone, no matter what stage you're in, just having that little extra level of audacity to make things happen, to show up on doorsteps, to send an email, to make a phone call, to find someone in person and make an impression. All under the heading, really, what you were doing is you were fighting for what you wanted. You decided that you wanted something and you were just willing to do it. And maybe there might have been something like, well, you can't just go down to the radio station and talk to them. You need to send them a letter or whatever it is. You have to fill out their formal application. And I've known so many people in all avenues who they were flat out audacious, almost to the point of like, is this a good idea or isn't it? But they always were able to toe that line where then it did work out. And so you kind of get in the side door or the back door, and then you can do something like what you're saying as far as getting the training later on is then you like, I guess it's, you don't have to follow, everyone thinks there's a certain order, but there really isn't. Everyone does something, like everyone's career in the arts and entertainment is entirely different, and there's no set order like you got to do this and then this and then this and this and this. Sometimes skip ahead, like what is the shortest distance between two places is sometimes a straight line.
Line.
And you just, well, what do you want? Okay, I'm going to just march down there and talk to that person.
Right. Falling forward, if you're being shoved, fall forward, and you're right there. It's not a linear process. It's really, again, as Tom would say, we're going to quote him 1,000 times. Everything is everything, right? Everything is everything. So as our emotional growth, happens, and our psychological awareness happens, I can absolutely chart my career along with my mental status. The times that were up, everything was together, and the times that have come down have needed reorganization. So sometimes you don't know, sometimes
Right.
you just don't know.
Yeah, and you and I are similar in the fact that we both had fairly long careers. Like I had started doing stand-up and acting around 2009, and then professionally by around 2012, 13. So I'd been doing this 10 years and booked lead roles and things, and showcased and done a ton of stuff in stand-up, and been lead roles and ensemble lead roles in TV and film, and had a lot of success. Which for a long time I did wear that as a badge of honor, like you, where I was like, oh, look at me, how well I'm doing. And I'm never formally trained. I've never gone to a conservatory or a TV, film, or theater school. I wore it as a badge of honor. And then later on, I started to think, what if this success is not because I'm winging it or learning it from the streets or patching together an education? What if I'm having this success despite that? And what if I layered on top of that proper training and a full conservatory like program? And that's I'd met Tom many years before I did conservatory, but that all aligned properly. And I also started to, I think I nipped it in the bud, but I started to envision a situation in my life where I would have more imposter syndrome the longer I stuck around, or the quote unquote higher and higher I went, where I'm going to be like working with actors who have done the Juilliard trained, and they've done Royal Shakespeare Conservatory and all kinds of things like that, where it's like I would start, whether it was true or not, if you're feeling it, if you feel that imposter syndrome, it can really negatively affect you. So I wanted to, for me, it was take that training so that I could dispel any of those myths. Like, now I've had the career, I've had all the bookings, I have all the credits, I have a resume, and I have the training on top of that. So if anyone looked at a resume, they're not going to be like, oh, this is great. Has he never trained? What's that? I can't have an untrained actor working here. So
Right.
Yeah, it was
And that shows your love. That really shows your love of the craft, Lars, because we have this in common as well, in that, I mean, you have smelled the same rarefied air as Jason Momoa, and
so his beard. I've smelled Jason Momoa air, like this close,
right, rarefied.
And he smells fantastic. Jason, I don't know what you're wearing, but if I were to ever be with my eyes closed in a room and Momoa was there, I could, Jason, is that you? I would still smell him. It was
you could smell the Jason. Okay. Yeah. That is a badge of honor. And you could very easily say, I know what I'm doing. And one of the radio highlights was co-hosting a morning show with the Emmy Award winning Tom Bergeron. I'm sorry, I have to say the Emmy Award winning.
I saw that in your bio, and I was like, Tom Bergeron is a fucking legend. Game show host.
He's America's host
as well. Did he do that?
He did America's Funniest Videos after our dearly departed Bob Saget.
Right.
And he did the best years of Dancing with the Stars, like 17 seasons.
Right.
And then, which is something else we can all appreciate, for reasons of ethics and morals, and I don't want my name associated with certain things, he stepped back. So yeah, we both had some things that we could say, yeah, we're making it. And I can smile and read and sound good, and I can have a career just based on just being persistent and bubbly. But as we discovered along the way, dramatic, intense, uncovering roles. You know how I feel about your Henry. You know, Saint Crispin's Day. You know what a fan I am of your monologue, Lars. And to hear and see you do heavy things when you're such a natural, funny guy and affable guy. And I'm kind of that way too. I liked the lighter side of things and to kind of gloss over some things. So to dig, like pull off the layers of wallpaper for us as performers and see that there's, you know, a beautiful, rich wall there. It's really satisfying. You know, it's really satisfying. And it makes me speak in lofty ways like this.
Right. And we talk about it often in many of our episodes here, Brandon, is we talk about growth and growing. And really it's like growth is really the definition of life. And if you're not growing, you're not just staying the same, you're going backwards. And top people in every category of life, doesn't matter how seasoned they are, they're still learning and still growing. They're still seeing themselves as green newbies. And like even someone like Mary Lou Rosado, who's an acting titan and a Shakespearean titan, and she's a teacher. She was the head of drama at Cal Arts and Juilliard trained, and teaches at Yale and teaches for Todoroff. And every time she picks up Shakespeare, she's always learning something new, and she's discovering something new about the text, about the language, about herself. So I think that's just such a hallmark of top performers, is that you're never finished. This life is never finished.
Always curious, always digging deeper, you know. As she called us, you know, we're daredevils. You know, we dare to do things that maybe a lot of people would like to do, but just have a little bit of fear. And that's what I think is so beautiful about what you guys are doing, because an actor who wants to audition, and maybe everybody's different. Sometimes you need hand holding. Sometimes you need a little push, a little shove. Sometimes, you know, another thing Tom says is transformation must be witnessed. So having a couple sessions with Brandon, working with some actors, we experienced that where in like 23 minutes, you can go from, you know, kind of being chilly and uncertain to, with these tools and techniques that we have, yes, there's instinct, and that's so important. But then to go dig and in an efficient amount of time, create something out of nothing. Mm-hmm. It's transcendental.
Yeah.
It's really
magic.
beautiful.
And I think that's something that draws actors year in, year out to Tom, as they see him work with someone, whether it's a monologue or a scene, and after they do a cold read take or just their take, and then some 20 minutes of tweaks, and then you watch the final result and you're like, this is night and day. Now I'm watching this fantastic, super engaging scene where maybe I was watching something that was kind of flat and detached to begin with. So yeah, it's amazing.
And that's what you guys do. You know, that's what we're doing and you're offering. So
Brandon, you got questions? BK Broiler?
Well, I think we're going to be rolling a clip soon.
Okay.
So if you want to roll a clip, do you want to
roll the clip?
Today's forecast? 100% chance of hydrated skin. Clinically proven to lock in hydration with hyaluronic acid. Skin so supple and hydrated it bounces back. Neutrogena. Meet the Encore GX, an intelligently engineered 5-person SUV that's been crafted to adapt as you do. Explore at Buick.com.
He told me if I do a good job, I get a wafer.
We only use 100% real Idaho-grown potatoes in our super crispy fries. We're not saying other potatoes aren't worthy. We're merely implying it. Find all 9 varieties in your grocer's freezer. Why choose PayPal Working Capital? Flexible payments. 1 affordable fixed fee. No credit check. Funding in minutes. This is Mo of Movibe.com. I've been a PayPal business customer since 1999 and just paid off my 9th PayPal Working Capital loan. Thank you very much. You can get one too. Apply now at paypal.com/workingcapital.
If I had a nickel for every time I had to lock in moisture on my skin with hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic. Okay. So
Hydrolonic. Yeah.
yes. You don't want to mix those up. Hydrochloric acid. Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, God.
It's
This is the wrong acid.
It's burning. My face is
Um,
burning.
Yeah, some big brands there. Yeah, the voice of Idaho potatoes, PayPal in there. Yeah,
I love what you did with this demo reel, Moneen, because you, I'm not sure, were these actual commercials that you did?
Some, yes,
Some?
yes. Yeah, some real, some demonstrative, yes.
Okay. I love how you put the visual in there as well, because it makes it more appealing just to viewers, because like now we get to actually just watch the commercial and listen to you at the same time. And I think it's great what you did with that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Actually, one of my colleagues who is a former student, who might have some offerings. There's some like interesting things I down the line I'd like to offer our members of the Actors Audition Club, and we'll talk about that, you guys. But I just want to mention Vicki Liston because she's a great producer and probably one of the longest clients I've had and most successful. I worked with her for about a decade, and Vicki did the video part of that. She's an amazing talent, and I produced a couple demos for her. She's got 5 agents, national work booked, sang at Carnegie Hall. There's really nothing she can't do, and also monetized a couple side gigs that she had. I had a little idea about putting a couple things together. Like you, Lars, like you, Brandon, like me, she's a doer, and created a revenue stream that is shocking, and really became an expert in her field. So in many ways, I really am more of a visionary for other talent. I love to perform. I really, really do. But I know my wheelhouse, and I'm comfortable with that. I think that comes with age. So it allows me really to invest and love in other talent, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I think that, I mean, I would wager to guess a little bit of that from, and I can relate this to conservatory, is you were one of a handful of people in our conservatory, partly because of age, maybe, but just who you were, the nature of you and your emotional intelligence is you were a maternal presence in our conservatory. Naturally, the age, like I'm way older than most people at conservatory. You think normally that's something that you do after high school or after university, then you take a professional conservatory, but we did that later in life. But you always had that maternal instinct and wanted to make sure that everyone else is taken care of before you, and making sure that everyone's okay. And anytime anyone was in any kind of distress or trouble, that you were always right there. And I'm sure you do that with your clients too. And that is what we do here at Actors Audition Club. And we talk about it a lot, that we're just as invested in other people's auditions as we are in our own. And that's hard to do in the beginning because everyone is scrapping it out, doing their best to just make their own mark and to book their own gigs. But at some point in your life, you realize that doing things for other people is more valuable and more rewarding. And we get that paternal or maternal feeling from our little babies when we find out, oh my God, you booked that thing that we helped you with. And we spent an hour here in the studio tweaking it and crafting it. And then now you booked it. And it's a 4-figure, 5-figure, 6-figure thing that's a life-changing role for that person and their family and their career. So yeah, it's amazing. And I just want to acknowledge you for having that type of, I mean, love is the word, to love other people enough to put them first and to want to help them. You alluded to it, Moneen, but why don't you tell us real briefly, and we can expand on this later and potentially do an offering to people. But you help actors with their voice demo reels and voiceover work. So do you want to explain a little bit what you do at MoVibe?
Sure, absolutely. So I work with a lot of emerging talent who are finding their feet and need some coaching and need a demo produced for them. That's perfect for them. And unique to them. There are a lot of cookie cutter production houses out there. I've been subject to it myself in the past, and really, I worked with a very large production house in New York, and I withdrew from that situation because it started to turn into McDonald's. And I really want to focus on the talent. Um, so I'm really proud of the demos that I've produced for other people because it sounds like them, it feels like them, and there is some heart to it, I believe. All the way to seasoned people. It doesn't matter if you've been at this for 3 months or 30 years. And I have produced demos for veteran broadcasters who have been in the business for 30 years. And there's always something new to explore. And also, we can't forget how important the fun factor is. I mean, I know that you guys never forget the fun factor, but sometimes in this isolated world, if talent are working on their own, they just need to be reminded that you can be a risk taker, that it doesn't cost you anything to challenge yourself, to go beyond. Another great quote is, there's no such thing as going over the top as long as you bring specificity with you. Okay, because as we know, you can bring somebody down, you can see a performance, you can bring somebody down, but you can't really imagine what they would be like elevated. So that's a lot of what I do, and figuring out what people need and want. There have been white collar people who thought they were going to be a narrator. One particular circumstance, we started getting into things, turned out to be a stand-up guy, just because we uncovered. Another actually was a dentist, to be honest, Brandon, a dentist who wanted to get into also voiceover, straight voiceover. It turned out he had this brilliant animation idea, helped him bring that to life. So sometimes you start on one path, and the self-discovery and the self-direction lead to more self-awareness, and there's a whole gold mine in here, oftentimes associated with whatever pathology you're either struggling with or trying to mask. And if you can make friends with that pathology, that's oftentimes your armor,
Right. Yeah.
And through coaching, we do that.
It's like, I mean, a lot of life and/or acting is peeling back layers. It's not adding things; it's stripping things away and removing masks, removing blocks, and just getting back to the core and root of who you are as a human being. Often, rather than having to add and build and create this persona or anything like that, it's just like who are you at your core, and be more of that. Often is the key to people. Brandon, you got another question?
What is your dream project you aspire to create, Moneen?
I do have a dream project, and it involves complete liberation, a live international bilingual morning show. With various and assorted elements of pop culture and socio-political commentary that is not sponsored in any way. So it is very raw and very truthful. And there are absolutely people that I want to work with on this. Fortunately, be careful to complain about the problems you have. Fortunately, I've been working enough where I'm busy enough doing my own thing, but it's brewing, it's growing. You guys will know about it, and it absolutely involves our Ensemble 10 with our universal back padding, our end sign. Yeah.
What about Tommy Bergeron? Is he going to get involved?
Who?
Tommy Bergeron.
Oh, I don't. I would love to have him come round. I'd love to have him come round. I'm sure he's got plenty to say. And when you don't have to deal with corporate sponsors, I've never been in that position. I've never been in a position where I haven't signed until recently, of course, where I've signed something where you can't do this on social media, you can't do this, and your name represents this, and blah, 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 blah. I've got nobody telling me nothing. My children are grown, my parents are dead, my mouth is going to go. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you guys will be part of that.
Love that.
You guys will absolutely be part of that.
Love that.
So recently, again, I mentioned it earlier, but we're working together. We're collaborating where you're going to be one of our new audition session directors, or I love acronyms, ASDs, helping actors with their auditions. We have some people in our Toronto studio here, but we also have people who are working remotely in the new Zoom world. Can you share? I have two questions for you relating to that. One is, what excites you about that opportunity to be working with other actors and helping them virtually or remotely via Zoom on their auditions? And then the second part of that question is, what do you think, if you were just speaking directly to actors listening to this, whom are going to be booking with us at Actors Audition Club, what can they expect in a session with you, and how do they what can they anticipate working with you?
That's beautiful, beautiful questions. Thank you for asking. So the first part of that was
Really excited about her.
I'm excited about everything. Excited about everything. And I think most importantly with auditions, of course we want to win the gig, right? We want to win the gig, but sometimes it's about winning the room. Okay. There are many, many opportunities where, you know what, you were not really what we're looking for this, but I love the strong choices that you made. You were 100% committed. We're going to keep your name. We're going to give you a call back, and then you develop a relationship. And whether or not you get a call back, or whether or not you get a favorite list, or whether or not you get a personal connection, or even the gig, it's still an opportunity to perform. And it's still an opportunity to work. And whether there's a check, of course, we love it when the check is attached, but even if there's not a check attached, both the actor and the director gain something from that. And in order to be a good actor, you really have to be a good director to be that specific. And if we're in a session together, first and foremost, it's the safest place you'll ever be. It's the most non-judgmental place you'll ever be. And I can shine myself up, and I can speak about myself in a really professional way, and I can, enjoy some glorified moments. But I've also had some very, very difficult times, shockingly difficult times that might really surprise people. And so from my heart, I'm saying, if you have a need to perform, not a want, if you have a need to perform and you work at it, and you seek the help that you need, because it's hard. We all want to do things on our own. It's hard to ask for help. But when you are in the care of trusting professionals, the impossible becomes possible. Lars is a testament to that. You're a testament to that, Brandon. Folks that are listening right now are a testament to that. I know I am. So you're going to get a session where you're going to be comfortable, you're going to be free, and you're going to be encouraged to take some risks and have some fun and do things that maybe employ a technique or two that you haven't used. And if it works and you want to carry that with you, great. And if it's not for you, we're going to find a way. I speak many languages, okay? Many performance languages. Okay. And something will happen. The molecules will move. And I'll be right there with you. And
I love that.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of something as far as like winning the room and just audition mindset. I saw a clip from Michael Keaton, and I'm just going to share my screen. Let me know if you guys can see this here.
Okay. I love him.
Yeah, it's something like I'd heard iterations of this, but it just really resonated with me last night when I saw it. So here is my screen, and can you see Michael Keaton?
This is big.
Hang on, let me start over again. Here we go.
I thought, I'm going about this wrong. I'm going about it like
see that?
that's the job.
So you're
get the
Right.
job. And so I thought,
There you go.
no, I'm going to work. I already got the job. The fact that I got a call to show up in the valley or way down here, and I'm going to get 3 minutes in a room or 20 minutes in a room, whatever they're going to give me in a room, that's the gig. Got the job. I'm going to work today. So I just went, I'm going to work. And I showed up ready to go to work. And then I started to like auditioning. I started, yeah, okay. And it was getting it or not became, I mean, there were times where you're really, really disappointed because you really wanted it and thought you got it. I'm not going to lie. But mostly it was like, it's not even the point. The point is to go to work. Then tomorrow I'll get another one. I'll go to work tomorrow. When I finally figured out about auditioning, and this was big, was
Yeah, it's so great. I mean, what it is switching from outcome and expectation orientation to process orientation, where it's like, I'm going to love the game and love the fact that I get to express myself and perform and create a story and tell a story. And then I'm going to detach myself from whether or not these people think that I'm the guy or not. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, but this is me and this is what I'm doing, and I'll do it again tomorrow. Yeah, I love it.
That's a beautiful quote from a beautiful guy. One of my favorite Michael Keaton interviews is, excuse me, I got literally choked up thinking about Norm Macdonald.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we love him, and he's passed. His last show on Netflix, where he interviews Michael Keaton, they talk about, I don't want to give it away. It's short. It's like maybe 17, 20 minutes. Go watch that interview with Norm Macdonald and Michael Keaton, and you'll just fall in love with both of them all over again. Amazing. I can't believe I really just got choked up over Norm. You know, it's interesting. People are so truthful at the end of their lives, you know. Wow, I really brought down the room. That was very depressing.
We love Norm.
It's very interesting for people just to let loose and be authentic and truthful. It's so liberating.
Any final questions, Brandon?
Moneen, what advice would you give to your past artist self?
Oh,
so your artist self that's just starting out, what would you say to them right now?
Chill the fuck out. Calm down. Slow down. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Let go. Don't white knuckle it. Don't white knuckle it. You don't have to. You don't have to. It's not about the kinetic energy. It's about the psychological energy. Yeah. Yeah. And employ the pause. Employ the pause is another instructor, Margie Sharp Douglas, you know, with the Alexander technique, pausing, you know, keeping that reptilian part of my brain from taking over. That's what I would tell my past artist self. But at the same time, current artist self respects past artist self, recognizes the tapestry that was woven. And if you pull any of those little strings, it all falls apart. So we should really not worry so much about the past or the timeline, as we've sort of talked about. Oh, I'm not keeping up with him. Oh, he got this, she got that. Put the blinders on, like the racehorse. Put the blinders on. Self-focus.
Love that.
Love it. Great answer. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to share, Moneen or Brandon?
You've been so generous in letting me just blah blah. You know, I'm a tangential speaker.
You're right.
I love talking about it. I love doing it. I especially love people who care so much about the craft as you guys too. And I never thought that I would be a person who would say the craft. And I mean it with respect. It's truly an honor. Every day is an adventure. Every day is different. And you know, sometimes sometimes there are close calls. Sometimes, you know, my kids have, again, they're adults now and they're successful young adults. They always say, you know, maybe times were a little tight or we had to go without this or that, but we've always seen you do your own thing. You've never answered to anybody. And I raised my own children. I was able to have a home studio in 1999. you know? So there's power in running your own life, you know? You got to run your own life. Don't let it run you, as Loretta Lynn would say. I don't know why a Loretta Lynn quote came up, but you got to run your own life, little girl.
Yeah. Brandon, anything you want to add?
No, that's it for me.
So I'll say this to all the actors watching. If you need help with an audition, you can go to laughingvikings.com to do that. You can book a Zoom session or a studio session. And you can also access things directly through our Instagram profiles or Facebook profiles, the link in bio, at Actors Audition Club or at Laughing Vikings. And we're pleased and happy to say that Moneen is one of the session directors that you can connect with. Also, be sure to reach out to Mo Vibes. Is it movibes.com with an S?
It's actually getmovibe.com.
Getmovibe.com. We'll link it up.
It will be linked in this video.
In the description, in the episode description. And also, Actors Audition Club members, stay tuned because I'm sure we can work something out where we collaborate and connect you with some of Moneen's voiceover and voice demo services. That would be great.
For sure. Got a little something special.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much, everyone, for watching, for listening. This episode will be up on all the podcast platforms shortly. We'll let you know about it, Moneen, and we'll link you up to that. Also, the other thing that people can do is if you are looking for help and you want to become a member, our enrollment is closed right now, but you can join the priority notification waitlist and you can be one of the first notified when we do open the doors again to Actors Audition Club. Go to laughingvikings.com/join. And you can throw your name on the list. And when we do open those doors, you'll be the first to know before the general public. And you can hop on board with Actors Audition Club. And what do? We help actors shoot professional auditions without tech troubles, without stress, without having to bug family and friends, so that ultimately you as the actor can focus on your craft and on your performance and book more roles in TV, film, voice, and theater.
Boom.
Right on.
Woo!
All right. This has been great, Moneen. Thank you so much. We love your energy. We love the Mo vibes. Happy to have you as a part of the team here. Thank you for everything that you contributed throughout the entire year. You're a really special person to all of us in conservatory, and we know you do a lot of great things for your clients. And just thank you for championing artists and actors, and just for being such a special person. We love you.
Thank you so much, Lars. That means so much. I the same to you. You know that. And Brandon, this has been great. Really special time.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us, Moneen. Thank you for joining us wherever you are right now.
Yes.
Have a fantastic week ahead of you. And goodbye.
And if you need a dental cleaning, then just let Brandon know next time you book a session. And
I know some students.
He'll scrape that calculus off the teeth.
I got the tools.
Yeah.
And I will have the tools. Thank you. And
All right.
have a
See you
great
next
week.
week, everyone. Thank you so much, Moneen.